Hello, Tyler DeWitt here. So I'm going to go over this search engine marketing masterclass. I use this speaking deck at Digimaricon in the masterclasses, as I am a masterclass speaker at one of the world's largest digital marketing conferences in the world. So, search engine marketing masterclass. Let's get started here. Okay, the first and most important thing we're going to talk about is account structuring is key. Proper setup of the account will determine how successful your campaigns will be overall. And basically what this means is the structuring of your account plays a key role into how successful your account will be. We get accounts all the time that look like, they're just a disaster. They're highly unorganized. We're going to talk a lot about this, on how to structure your account during this presentation and this masterclass. You want to make sure that your campaigns are well grouped. You separate your search, your display, your shopping, and run all those in an individual campaign because you want to be able to track the results. We've had campaigns or accounts come to us. I've seen accounts in the past that were just, very unorganized. People would mix their display network with their search network, so they was not seeing measurable results, or they wasn't able to optimize efficiently. So you want to avoid that. You want to keep everything separated. So let's go over some basic Google terms just in case if you're not familiar with these. Some of you might be, and some of you are not. You have ad rank, CPC, which stands for cost per click, impressions, which means how many times someone's seen your ad. Conversion value clearly is, your value of your conversions. Keyword quality score. This one's very important. Keyword quality score is a metric, or variable they assign to your keywords that tells you how your keywords are performing, with 10 being the highest. It's a rating from 1 to 10. We want to try to stick at 8, stay in the range of 8 and 10, because the higher your keyword quality score, the lower your cost per click is going to be. And you do that through ad testing, A/B testing. We got CTR, which stands for click-through rate, ROAS, which stands for return on ad spend, average position, and bounce rate. Bounce rates is how many times somebody's coming into your site and leaving. Okay, let's get into talking about keyword quality score. So what determines your keyword quality score? It's your click-through rate, your ad relevance, landing page experience. Rating from 1 to 10. As you see over here, I mentioned click-through rate, landing page, historical performance, quality score, PPC advertising, keyword relevancy, ad relevancy. So they take all these variables into play. And I'll tell you right now, the key factor in what determines your quality score is how many times someone clicks on your ad. Or, if you have the highest CTR. So say, for example, your ad's showing to 1,000 people and you drive 100 clicks, but your competitor drives 50 clicks for their 1,000 impressions in the same position on Google, you're going to get rewarded a higher quality score. And the result of that is your average cost per click is going to, significantly go down. So it's going to go down greatly, and you're going to see better performance, better return, lower cost per clicks, everything. So the Google Keyword Planner, I stay away from tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush, because the Keyword Planner tool is much more efficient, and this data is coming from Google. And as you can see, you can do searches like flowers or buy flowers. It shows you the average monthly searches, 3-month change, year-over-year change, competition, top of page bid low range, top of page bid high range, and you'll find out that top of page bid high range is pretty accurate. Now if you have a high quality score, maybe you'll get a top of page bid at low range, 2.22, but if your quality score is not performing, then you're going to pay more. I've seen accounts where people have paid twice as much as what their competitor has paid because their quality score is better. And some people don't even pay attention to quality score, believe it or not. I've seen many accounts in the past that have been managed from managed by junior PPC managers, and they neglect the quality score. I've seen them where they've been 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, and we've boosted them to 8, 9, and 10 out of 10. Most of our accounts usually run at 10 out of 10. We try to keep them in that area, anywhere from 8 to 10. But clearly, you get your competitors that are consistently optimized. If you have a good competitor that's really on top of it, the quality score it becomes more difficult. It becomes more harder to optimize because your competitors consistently changing their ads and finding out what works. And you got to change your ads over time too. What worked last year won't work this year. What worked 6 months ago won't work today. So you got to stay on top of it, and you got to keep making tweaks to your ads so your keyword quality score stays up and you get rewarded with that low cost per click. Okay, now we're going to talk about the Google Search Network. So Google Search Network Insights. Okay, as mentioned earlier, always separate your display and search. Launch the search network without the display network. And let me say it again, launch the search network without the display network. I just got to emphasize that in because so many people will go into a campaign when they first start it and they will launch a search network with the display network. It's terrible. Don't do it. I don't even know why Google even allows people to do that for it. So you want to turn off these options. You see under your settings, you'll find this setting where it says search network, display network, and you want to turn off this or the search partners. Actually, you want to keep the search partners off and the display network off. For the search partners, you can turn those on later. The search partners are just sites that are out there, that nobody uses really anymore, and they tend to drive really low quality traffic. It could be like webcrawler.com, AOL.com, Lycos.com, and similar sites. And here's an example of what a Google display ad is, and you can always tell, like say for example, you go into a site, right here, if you click on this little arrow looking icon deal they got here on the ad, that will tell you who's running that ad. And I'll show you an example. Let's see if we can find an example here. Just go to this site, or actually let's go to healthline.com. And we'll just go here, just start clicking on some stuff, see if we can find some ads. Oh, here's one right here. So if you click on this, I'll tell you, okay, this is Yahoo. Here's this is Yahoo advertising this ad. Just tells you more information about the ad. Let's go down here, click on another one. So you can see this is another company. Initiative. Let's see. Let's find another one here. Another Yahoo ad. Same company there. Let's see here. Let's go to a different page, see if we can find a Google ad. Actually, let's go to, check out searchenginejournal.com if you're familiar with them. I think they run a lot of Google ads. Healthline does too, but they mix them up. They got different providers coming through there. There you go. So you click on that one, you see ads by Google. So it gives you a description of who's running the ad. So maybe you come across a site, you're like, hey, I want to advertise on this site. Who's managing their ad network? Clearly you can reach out to the site directly, but just gives you more insight on, what provider they're using. So to run their ads through, or who they're publishing for, I should say. So like this one right here would be Google AdSense they're using. Or where's it at? Actually, the ad just changed. That's Yahoo. Yeah, right there. This ad's, they got Google AdSense enabled there. Okay, so let's go back here to the search engine marketing. So this is just to give you an example of what a display ad is. Native ads look similar. Well, I shouldn't say they're similar, but native ads look more like part of the content. Sometimes they can be hard to tell apart, but if you look at them, you'll notice the difference. Some ad networks call them native ads, then you got Google display ads, but native ads look more integrated into the content. They look like they're more part of the content. Okay, launch search without search partners. As mentioned earlier, always launch the search without search partners. Search partners convert at a lower rate. Keep search partners off for at least a month. So what I mean by this is keep your search partners off for at least a month. Run without search partners. Get the data build up. See how the search network's doing directly from Google. How search is doing directly from Google. But keep those partners off. Don't enable until you hit your KPIs. Once you hit your KPIs, you can then test the search partner sites. And right here, what are the search partner websites? Lycos, Ask, Dogpile, BizRate, and I'll show you an example. So we're at Dogpile, so let's search like dog treats. Well, dog training. Let's just search dog training. Now you can see this is a Google. They're using Google text ads. Because you look down at the very bottom, you'll see the google.com. So this is basically Dogpile as a search partner. Let's go to Lycos. Type in dog training. And it looks like they're using their own. Sometimes they switch it up. Lycos used to be a Google search partner, so they might be using their own platform now, or they could still be feeding Google through their platform. It's just saying their name at the bottom. And let's check out bizrate.com. Typo in the domain there. Type in dog cages. So you see right down here, they got ads related to dog cages, and they have the Google text ads running through there. So those are some of the search partner websites. Now when you turn those off, you're going to directly show up on Google. Put in dog cages. You're going to directly show up in Google here and here. You get your text ads here, and you get your shopping network there. So you don't want to have the, because the search partner sites, they tend to convert really low. And search partner websites have been known to send in a lot of fraudulent traffic too. As mentioned, let's focus on this area, quality traffic. This is where the money is, Google only search. Okay, let's talk about conversion goal settings. Sales, leads, phone calls. Target the right one. Sales, leads, and phone calls. So, a lot of times people set up their account and they don't set their conversion goal settings. And this is important that you set this up because you want people, or you want to have, Google needs a way of knowing what you're targeting so they can, if you turn on the automation features. So if you're targeting sales, set it up for sales. Targeting leads, set it up for leads. Targeting phone calls, set it up for phone calls. Make sure your campaign objectives are all set up correctly. Ad rotation settings, do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely. I've been doing this for years, and I've always, from previous experience, I've always learned to put do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely, because the problem is when you use optimize, Google Ads system is kind of buggy. It tends to optimize the ads too fast. 2 days will go by and it'll say, hey, this ad's showing more, so we're not going to show the other ad anymore. You need to let it run consistently for 2 weeks, a month, before you start making changes. I would say 2 weeks. You get 300 to 500 clicks into an ad. You want to make sure both of those ads are showing a fair share of impressions. Okay, bid settings for high ROAS. Use this process, manual CPC, enhanced CPC, automation. If automation is not working, go back to manual bidding. And what I mean by this, or the process behind this, is to use manual CPC first, because if you use manual CPC first, you can bid high, get data, and then optimize accordingly. And you can move into enhanced CPC. And you never want to start a campaign with automation. Don't use any of the automated, features under Google like automating bidding until you get data up. And a lot of times if you try to change a setting on there, Google will tell you, look, you need to have, 3 to 500 visitors, or you need to have, generated this much sales before using this, feature. So you want to start with manual CPC, build in a lot of data into the campaign. Even if you're breaking even, you might slowly lose some, but then once you get it optimized, you can start making tweaks. You can go from manual CPC right into automation. If you have like a month full of data, 2-3 months full of data, you can go right into automation after that. You just want to make sure you get the data built into the system so Google has something to work with. Bid settings for branding. Use this process if you're just running a brand campaign and you just want people to see your ad, maximize clicks, maximize impressions. Set your campaign up to maximize clicks and maximize impressions. Drop mobile bids. Set mobile bids 30 to 50% less than desktop under the device section. So you always want to set mobile bids 30 to 50% less because they don't convert well. Mobile, like for example, on a lot of sites we'll see where mobile's converting at 1%, driving a sale, maybe one sale per 100 visitors, where desktop could be anywhere from 2 to 3%. We got one guy that sells, kitchen appliances. He sells brand name kitchen appliances, and desktop converts astronomically high. Last I checked, it was like 8-10%. His mobile's converting like 3-4%, and that's because a lot of people are searching, brand-related keywords. That's why his conversion rates are so high. Okay, these are gone now. Expanded text ads are now gone. Expanded text ads are gone on June 30th. They just discontinued them this year. So you can still A/B test with the RSAs, the responsive search ads they call it. And I want to mention this. The responsive search ads, they will tell you, they'll give you an ad strength rating when you set them up. You want to try to get that good, but don't take it literal. Don't take it like your ad is not good. As I mentioned here, Google rates your ad by how many headlines and descriptions you have, up to 15 headlines and up to 4 descriptions. So during this, or when they, basically the more headlines you put in, the higher they tend to rank your ad, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's better. And you can create 2 RSAs, split up maybe like 8 headlines in one, 8 headlines in the other one, and find out what ad does better. So that's if you want to A/B test the ads like you would with the expanded text ads, the ETAs. Keyword match setup. So for the keyword match setup, you're going to read stuff online about, what to use, what's right. Use 10, 15 keywords, 20 keywords. I suggest that you use single keyword ad groups if possible, 3 to 5 at the most. Usually 1 to 2 keywords, as I mentioned here, 1 to 2 keywords per ad group using match types. So for example, we have 1 keyword in each one of these groups. Cuisinart DLC 7 parts. We have an exact match. Actually, there's 2 keywords in there now, but it's Cuisinart exact match and a phrase match. That's all we need. Phrase match will target everything that's relevant to that keyword. But you always want to start with exact first. So when you launch a campaign, start with exact, find out what keywords convert, and then move into a phrase. You don't need to add 100 keywords into an ad group. You don't need to add 15, 20. I mean, you can, but it really depends on the product or service you're offering. You want to keep your keywords. The strategy is keep your keyword as relevant as possible to that ad that's in that ad group. Instead of using 15 keywords, maybe you need to split those keywords into different ad groups and use a title that's more relevant for each keyword, because it's going to give you a boost in your quality score. A lot of the times we get accounts, and that's exactly why the quality score is underperforming when they're at 4 or 5, because they're loading all these keywords into the account. People searching for stuff, and they're not clicking on the ad because what they're searching for is not really relevant to the ad. When you have it laser sharp, laser targeted, your conversions are astronomically going to shoot up. Set up category ad groups. Test all your categories. And don't forget this, because a lot of people tend to overlook their categories. For example, like Nike shoes, Reebok shoes, New Balance shoes, men's shoes, women's shoes. And here, over here on the right is another example: Sims waders, Redington fly rods, Orvis fly rods. So we got all those different brand names, and we have those, people searching brand names, and they're landing on the category page. A lot of people overlook that. So if you have categories in your website, target those categories to see how they perform. So if somebody types in like Nike shoes and they click on an ad, they're going to go into a page showing all Nike shoes. Actually, let's see if anybody's doing it. We'll do a quick search on Google here. So these are shopping ads, so clearly it's just going to show random ads. But let's go clearly to Nike.com. They might have, let's try Reebok shoes. Clearly if you go on the Reebok, it's going to take you in the Reebok's homepage. Or they're going to show, well, here we go, it's showing all their shoes. So it's like a category page, but it's on Reebok. Let's try, let's do this. Let's go men's shoes. There we go. Nordstrom. See that? Looks like I don't even think they have the right page. So that's prime example right there of someone using a keyword going into an irrelevant page. You see that? I type in men's shoes, right? Well, here, maybe it's showing the right ad now. No, it's not. Holiday outfits. All holiday outfits. So basically they have an ad here that says men's shoes at Nordstrom. They might be using dynamic text ads. That's why it's showing up like that. So as you can see, this is a huge company, right? So they probably hired a PPC manager and he doesn't even know what he's doing. Or somebody in there overlooked it. I mean, why would you search men's shoes? Then you're leading them into shirts. What is this? Cologne, men's cologne. It should be going into the shoes page. It should be going into this page. So that is definitely an underperforming ad. We got Finish Line, which makes sense. Finish Lines, they sell nothing but shoes. So yeah, you want to test your category pages. If you have, especially trademarks, if you got trademarks, let's say you sell Conair parts or Conair, I don't know, blenders, if they even have blenders. Let's see here. Or not Conair blenders, but like, I mean, there's different type of blenders. There's, well, you got NutriBullet, So if you sell like NutriBullet blenders or whatever, have it going into the category page of the site. All right, so Google recommendations. Use your common sense when applying these recommendations. My gosh, just because Google tells you to do something does not necessarily mean you have to apply the recommendations. Use your common sense. If you don't understand it, don't apply it. It's either you don't apply it or you research it and understand it and make sense, if you apply it or not. Just because Google says to apply something doesn't mean you need to apply it. That's why I tell people, don't trust your Tesla car to drive you around either. You got to use your human common sense, It's very important to, review what you're applying carefully, because if not, you're going to mess the campaign up. In fact, I had one client, she went through her Google Ads account and just started applying all the recommendations. She's like, well, Google told me to. And then what happened? Her campaign went downhill. She spent a bunch of money and she spent a bunch of money and she lost a bunch of money. So be very careful when you're using the Google Ads recommendations. And in fact, I'm so confident in the accounts anymore that we don't even, if I'm on the account, I don't even pay attention to the Google Ads recommendations. Now, I'm not advising that you ignore them or overlook them. You should review them, especially if you're new to Google Ads, so you know what's going on. I mean, I take a quick glance at them, but I'm confident enough in, the optimization that we use that's working, So, I've been doing this for nearly 20 years. Don't forget to test dynamic search ads, DSAs. So dynamic search ads can be powerful. Just make sure you set them up correctly. Now, you've seen that ad where we typed in shoes for men or whatever, they're Nordstrom, and it was leading into a clone page. That's probably because they're using dynamic search ads. Like, well, yeah, they're using dynamic search ads and they don't have it set up correctly. So when you set up your dynamic search ads, make sure your ads are showing. Make sure they're relevant to what the user is searching for. You know, if somebody comes into your store and they say, hey, where's your shoes at? Yeah, where's your Nike shoes? You're not going to lead them to sell them clone, are you? I mean, that doesn't make sense. So make sure that you stay relevant. Relevant is where the conversions happen. Relevant is where it gives you a good quality score. But you know, companies like Nordstrom, these big companies, are spending so much money. They go out and hire these people, and half time they just overlook it. Just people overlook it and they don't pay attention to it. And it can be something in their marketing department. You know, maybe their director or whoever, VP, is not doing his job, to be quite straightforward with you. He's not actually being analytical about what he's doing and looking into it. And believe it or not, this goes on more than you think. So, most important landing page elements: header, story or copy, social proof, testimonials or reviews, unique selling proposition. If you're like an attorney or whatever it is, even if you're selling a product, include a catchy header, a story or copy of the product if you can, social proof, people using it and how they like the product, testimonials or reviews will help increase your reviews as well, or your conversion rates. And here's some other landing page elements: layout and design, eye-catching imagery and media, keep it relevant, a strong CTA, call to action, story and copy link, short form versus long form. So short forms always tend to convert better than long forms. Sometimes I'll go into a website and they'll ask you 20 questions over something so simple. But there again, I mean, are you trying to push people out and trying to qualify people a little bit more? Then use long form. But if you're not, like, you just want to get their email, the first name and number, so you can pick that phone up and say, hey, how are you doing, Joe? How can I help you? You know what I mean? That makes it a lot easier. Your conversion rates are going to increase. And plus, sometimes it might make it better to ask them questions on the phone versus asking them through the form, because sometimes people they kind of like shy away. They get a little intimidated, you know, answering certain questions they're not comfortable with answering. So if you can call them up, kind of talk with them, chit chat for a while, maybe it's better to get that information through the phone versus on the form, so you don't scare them away. So here's an example of some bad landing page headers. Learn how I lost weight, learn how I grew muscle, learn how we helped ABC company grow. So, learn how I lost weight, yeah, who cares? Learn how I grew muscle, yeah, okay, how did you do that, or what happened, you know? I mean, yeah, these are mediocre titles. These are mediocre page headers. Don't ever use this stuff in your ad copy and your headers. It's mediocre at best. Here's great landing page headers. Statistics inside of the content. Learn how I lost 12 pounds under 6 weeks. Learn how I put on 10 pounds of muscle in under 6 months. 300% growth for ABC company in under 1 year. The secret sauce to 10 extra traffic in 1 year, under 1 year. Now these are the titles that, bam, they suck people in. They grab their attention. They're interested. They're like, okay, this is exactly how much weight I'm trying to lose. I'm trying to lose 12 pounds. I'm trying to lose 20 pounds. They see that, like, okay, I want to know how this happened, you know. Or a company might have 300% growth for a certain industry, you know, 300% growth for ABC company, whatever that, you know, they catch their attention. So you use a swipe file as well. So you have like swipefile.com, swipe.co as a reference, and let's check those out here. So you see, swipefile.com gives you like all kinds of marketing ideals. I mean, these are written by some of the best. I didn't buy it. I dyed it. $400 calories in your stomach. So these give you an idea of all kinds of different ads written. Oop. Oh. So we got advertorials advice before and after. So you just look at the titles, headers, whatever on these pages. Just get an idea. I'll go through here, search around. Testimonial examples, copywriting, direct mail. Let's see here. You've got emails. You can see what people are doing through their email marketing campaigns. So you use that, swipefile.com. And let's check swipe. Oop. You can go under here and you can check it all out. So these are really resourceful places, helpful content. Look at this. See this right here? Reduce your wrinkles up to 56% in the first month. Now, if it was reduce your wrinkles in the first month, or reduce your wrinkles, that would be mediocre at best. But when you use titles like reduce your wrinkles up to 56% the first month, people are like, okay, I want to read this. What can I do? So those are just examples. All right, landing page testing. 1 ad per landing page. Collect 300 to 500 clicks. Turn off automatic ad rotation, as I mentioned earlier. Split traffic evenly. Try to create 1 ad per landing page. So if you're trying to generate leads, set up 1 ad per landing page. See which ad outperforms. See what ad drives other results. And before you start changing ads, wait until you get like 300 to 500 clicks. It's probably on the high end. I mean, you can do 150 clicks, but you got to remember some days are going to be better than other days. So it's good to run those ads over a 2-week, 4-week period, so you have enough data and you're sure that ad A is going to do better than ad B. And then when you find out ad A is doing better than ad B, that's when you can create another ad that looks more like ad A, or create another ad that looks completely different than ad B, the one that's underperforming. So get a drink there. My mouth is getting dry. So let's see here. Landing page quality scores. So we got click-through rates, as mentioned earlier, keyword relevancy, bounce rates, 1 to 2 keywords per ad group, A/B test ads, A/B test landing pages, landing page speed test. And as mentioned, click-through rate is essential to how well your campaign performs. The higher click-through rate, CTR you have, the better quality score. And your keyword relevancy and all these factors come into play on your quality score. And clearly there's other factors too Google doesn't tell you about. But you see this, landing page experience, bam, above average, quality score, bam, 10 out of 10. That campaign I wrote. So you want your campaign to be taught, you want your campaign to perform. Key factors to remember: launch search without display network. Use the right conversion goal settings. Use a swipe file as a reference. Test the dynamic search ads. Build out high converting landing pages for leads. Thrive to have the best quality scores at keyword level. A/B test ads nonstop and build off successful ones. I would ask you guys if you got any questions, but this is my speaking deck. So if you have questions, leave them in the comment below, or shoot me an email or whatever, and we'll see if we can help you. So now let's move into Google Shopping Network Insights. Follow the same rules for Shopping Network. Turn off search partners, launch the manual CPC, set mobile bids 35% less than desktop. So you want to launch that Shopping Network using the manual CPC option, and you do not want to turn on automation at first. You want to keep your automation functionalities off. Let's see how these ads convert, see how you want to build the data up first. So, all right, title optimization, think like your customer. So here's an example of thinking like your customer: consumables, books, hard goods, apparel, electronics. So for example, let's use electronics. Let's talk about this. You got a brand, a product type, model number. So maybe like iPhone version 11. I don't know. There's different iPhones out there, so you want to make sure that you include the model number and the brand in the title. Apparel, brand, gender, product type. So maybe you're wanting to buy, let's say Theory or Nike, red Nike shirt for men, or red Nike shirt for women, or whatever, Just using these as an example. Make sure you stay relevant and think like your customer. Dig into the keyword research tools or whatever, find out what your customers are searching for, what they're looking for. If someone calls you a lot and they ask about certain products and they're being very specific, make sure you put that in your title. Shopping feed optimization factors: description to image, price points, reviews. Okay. Reviews help your conversion rates. Price points help your conversion rates. Images help people, look at the product. You can even include videos on the page. You know, a lot of people are doing that on Amazon. You know, you can do that through the, you know, you can't use the video as your main, you know, for your product, of course, but you can use a, you know, attractive image, then somewhere on the page use a video as well to help people understand, you know, the product more, and, you know, kind of boost the social proof. Descriptions. All these are important. More of this falls under the conversion, but here is what you really want to pay attention to. You want to make sure that title that shows up through Google is relevant to what they're searching for, and make sure it's something that people actually search for. So we have this option too, subdivide all products by item ID, which easily allows or easily apply bids to underperforming products. Analyze your product conversion rates along with total value. Exclude products that are not performing or drop bids. Usually on smaller accounts, you want to do this. You want to subdivide all products by item ID so you can have a complete granular view of all the products listed. Now, if you got 1,000 products, that's going to take forever. So I would probably suggest that you subdivide the products by brand or category, which we're going to talk about. But anyways, let's say you're a smaller e-commerce store, 100, 150 products. Subdivide all the products by item ID so you have a very granular bid. Maybe you want to, you know, only apply manual bids. You can go through there and punch them all in, see how each product is, you know, converting. Then we have subdivide all products by brand or category. So you can easily apply bids to underperforming categories or brands, allow you to exclude by category or brand, see how certain categories or brands are performing ROAS-wise. So as you can see here, Sims fishing products, Rio products, fish pond, anglers accessories, Hardy, and Hatch Outdoors. So this is one that we have by product group to see how, or not product group, but by brand to see how each brand is converting at brand level. But this particular client has a lot of products. I can't even remember, I think 7,000. So subdivide a category by item ID. Subdividing a category by item ID allows you to dive in deeper. This is best for use for sites with lots of products under a category. You just gotta go in there and play around with it. You know, I mean, I think brand category is a good option for people that have a lot of products. And as you can see right here, like we open up Sims fishing products and then we, you know, open that up. You can see all the products under there. And we're actually using enhanced CPC bids for that, which we eventually used automation for this campaign. Or we are using automation now for that campaign. Subdivide all products by item ID. You do this, you know, smaller accounts. Okay, create shopping ad groups. Some advertisers use multiple ad groups and others do not. Use when you have different ROAS goals for certain products or even categories. Key factors to remember: make decisions based on your data. Use subdivisions only when necessary. Title optimization can make or break your campaign. Launch your shopping network campaigns with partners off. Always set your mobile bids lower than desktop. And once again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Google Display Networks Insights. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Google Display Network. Okay, which display campaign should you select? Standard is usually used by advanced users. Smart Display is usually used by new users. Why not try both? Smart Display, I would stay away from Smart Display. There again, depends on how much experience you got. But why not try both? If you're new, I would start out with Smart Display just to give it a try. If it's not working out for you, find some ways to advance and use the standard displays, you know, campaign. And just be very granular and analytic at what you're doing. I'm not really too big of a fan of the Smart Display campaign. And they already did away with the Smart Shopping, which was terrible. The reason I told everybody not to use it, and the reason we had so many accounts that come to us that was using the Smart Shopping that was just underperforming, you know, and I think it's one reason why Google, you know, they no longer have it available. They did away with it. So ad targeting options, you got audience demographics, keywords, topics, placements. So if you know your audience, target your audience, but keep in mind that it will limit your volume. Placements is really good. So if you know there's certain websites out there that's converting well, search them under their placements and see if you can target those sites. So say MSN.com or I don't know, MSNBC.com, using these, again as an example. You can set up certain sites. You might have 25 sites that you know work for you that are converting. Go ahead and target those sites. Or maybe you're familiar with industry-related sites that are running Google ads, display ads, and you want to target those, websites. Do a search under their, targeting and see if you can find that site. Audience setup. Google automatically creates audience segments lists. So you have the Google Ads optimized list, all visitors, product viewers, shopping cart abandoners, and all converters. So these audiences are automatically set up by Google, and you can target some of those. For the shopping cart, people that exit the shopping cart, you can remarket to those people and offer them a discount. That's where you'll find the conversions there. And you can use Google Analytics to publish audiences into Google Ads, which is a really cool feature. So make sure your Google Analytics is connected to your Google Ads. Remarketing setup, and here we go into the remarketing. For high ROAS, remarket to people that have already added to your cart. For branding, remarket to anyone that has visited your product pages. So if you're looking for ROAS, you're looking for conversion, sales, clearly you want to remarket to people that have added to the cart because they have high potential to buy. Their intent is very high to buy. For branding, remarket to anyone that has visited product pages. So if you want a lot of exposure and keep your product out there and creating awareness, and people that have just visited certain products, then you would remarket to them, to the visitors, not the people that added to the cart. And here's the placement optimization. So after you run the display ads for a while, you can find high converting website, exclude low performing websites, create a new placement campaign. And as you can see right here, it shows you how mail.google.com is converting, CNN, mobile app, WashingtonPost.com, MSN, AOL, Yahoo. So they're all sending traffic from the display network or to the display network, and you can see which ones are converting the best, exclude or target the ones that are doing the best. So keyword targeting, use a maximum of 10 keywords per ad group. Use highly relevant titles and descriptions. A/B test your ads. So the display network is a little bit different. In the display network, you want to use like 10 keywords per ad group. So say, for example, you're trying to generate auto insurance leads. Create an ad group called like auto insurance quotes. I don't know, just auto insurance. Then you have like auto insurance quotes, car insurance quotes, Indian auto insurance quotes, California auto insurance quotes. That might work. 10, 15 keywords. I would actually, what I would do is probably even set up in a situation like that. What we have done in the past is we've created individual ad groups with one keyword, where one was auto insurance quotes, another one was Indian auto insurance quotes, and then we used highly relevant keyword ad text. So, for example, let's just use California auto insurance quotes. Then you'd put in the ad text, find and compare the lowest California auto insurance quotes. Therefore, you're very granular, and you can target people in California only for the geographical settings, because that would make more sense, right? So you just got to really get into the campaign, take your time, be patient, and do it right, and keep your focus on what people are searching for and what they're looking for, and present that to them. And that's where you're going to see the conversions at. So many people get so carried away with just setting these accounts up without putting much logical thinking into it, You got to relate to your people, you got to relate to your buyers. You got to understand how they're buying, what they're looking for, what they're doing, when they're going to buy, or how they're going to buy, whatever, And that's how you outcompete the competition. So that should be it, and I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and contact information's right here. Have a great day.